Do you think women are the property of men?
No. The point I was making...
Why have you said they are?
Because I made a religious point. I said that when a man marries a woman, the woman's father walks her down the aisle, and hands her away to the man. Traditionally, this is what it says in the Bible. I'm a religious person. I believe in God. I live in the most religious country in the world.
So you do think that the woman becomes the men?
I think she takes his last name.
I mean, let's watch the clip that you said about this so that we can get it in context.
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes. When a bride is walking down the aisle to marry the groom, the father walks next to her and gives her away. True or false?
Absolutely.
But I've been married twice, as it turns out, and on both occasions, I didn't believe that the woman was being handed to me as chattel, as property.
Perhaps the way the reason I'm asked that question repeatedly, and I'm asked in a loaded way.
So would you rephrase what you said there?
Now, that's an interesting point about phrasing. The way I would say things before I was famous, I have to take personal responsibility and accept that if I make a video that 500 people see and 1% of them misunderstand it, that's not a problem. If I make a video that 5 million people see and 1% of them understand.
So specifically on that point, I think my sister is her husband's property.
She took his last name. She married him. She wanted to join his family. She has said it herself.
Right. So she's
still a sovereign individual. She's absolutely not a sovereign individual.
Property means that the husband owns your sister.
Listen, my friend, if you want to argue about this, you need to go back to the Bible, to the Quran. You need to argue with religious
No, I'm not talking about anything in the Bible or Quran.
But that's what it says.
No, I'm asking you what you think.
I think that if a woman marries a man and she decides to take his last name, that they have different roles and responsibilities within that marriage, and I believe that...
That's not the question.
I believe the father... I am. The father hands are...
Don't behave like a politician.
That's the CEO woman, the Christian pillar woman, and then that's the reason people still believe they're married. That's why they go overseas to look for those women. And one of the aspects that is about the Christian part, we just in the Bible they said men and women become one, and then the body of a man is not for himself, it's for to a wife, and the body of a wife is not for herself, it's for the man. And whenever the man asks for this wife, she should not be able to say no, because she should be able to agree with him in all things. So and therefore in the Bible we believe yes, the man is a part of a woman, the woman is a part of the body of a man is a woman, the property of the woman is the man, because and the most thing about the Bible, they speak about intimacy. That's the one reason also in the marriage a lot of people get divorced when they get married, because after a certain time the woman doesn't really give the pleasure to the man, and they become a relationship without any intimacy. That's why they go elsewhere to find another woman, or to find an affair, or to find somewhere else in order to satisfy that needs. So that's the reason why the Bible say that. And the way the guy interview him, he doesn't really understand the part of the value biblically, because not even understand the public value of the thing. But back in the day, they understand that the man is a woman or one, and everything you need from a woman you gotta ask the man. That's why when you go to sell the product to somebody, you know who's gonna define or say the person the father says say also, and everything is the person that's in charge, the person that is the responsibility of the ownership. So basically that's why when you sell something, you go first of all to the person that's ahead. Whatever they said is gonna be the final word. And on top of that, the way it is the property of a woman, the woman is the property of a man. The way you say that, I understand now in the sensitive word that everything people say can take out of context and be more about feeling the more reality. But the truth of the matter is, when the wife, for example, is humiliated herself or doing something evil or doing something bad, and the society back on the day what they gonna call what's the husband, what happened to her husband, oh, she probably doesn't have a husband, the husband is not here. That's why on the single family society right now, you see the kids are growing up because and they see the women behave a kind of way, because they don't have no ownership, they're not undercover anybody, because they can do whatever they want, and most of the time the woman is doing bad things. So that's why they need men that in order to gather, that's the men in order to protect her and procreate, and then in order to give her the full peace. And the reason why he's put it like that, because he want to make a bad image out of him, that he doesn't know what he's doing and he's saying something wrong. But the religious belief know that that's true, because what happens is you go to the Middle East, for example, if a woman did something, the family disgrace her and the husband disgrace her. When the husband disgrace her, there's no society that gonna take you right open. When the husband disgrace you, the only thing that's left for you most likely is death, which is the final punishment. And that's why he pushed that narrative. He found out that in America you can battle it out, but in morality, a lot of women, that's why they want to get married. That's why they want to be able to have a husband, because they want that man to be in control. They want that man to be able to have a status, and that's why when they take out the last name, so the last name is proof that you belong to me and I belong to you. That's why the woman take the man last name. That's a proof that he's a part of me, she's a part of me, and I'm the owner of this relationship. I'm the head of the relationship, and I'm the one that's the final say. And that's a good point of view. And then if you like my video, give me a thumbs up. If you have a question, then don't give me a comment. I'll be glad to reply to it. And that's the next one.
What is your profession?